Hi there everyone, another welcome to the People's Channel, where truth replaces lies and fiction becomes fact. Today I want to address this purely fictional so-called fact put out by the Mad Cow Britain Stronger in Europe crew, who make the completely off-the-wall and ludicrous claim that every family in Britain will be better off by £3,000 a year if we remain in the European Union. If you're thinking we only pay the EU a membership fee of 55 million a day, think again. Hypocrisy of the first order outrages Europe fines UK 642 million for poor accounting. Cameron and Osborne quietly pay the 1.7 billion bill from Brussels, which they dismissed as totally unacceptable. Fury as EU gifts 22 billion to boost French economy and its UK taxpayers paying the bill. Pay up Britons. EU fines UK 150 million for not flying the EU flag. Can't fund cycling because of pollution fines? Back to the 300 million. That is also the figure the UK is likely to have to pay annually from next year in fines if it fails to comply with EU air pollution targets, specifically NO2 limits. England, as a country, we have since 2010 consistently failed to reduce NO2 levels to safe limits. Seems like that means an extra 300 million a year then, every year. Confirmation of the last article comes from The Independent. UK faces 300 million fine over failure to meet air pollution targets. European Commission to take legal action against Britain over high levels of dangerous gas. Brussels shock. EU plots tax on British to fund benefits for jobless in Italy. EU to slap VAT on food. The European Commission wants VAT exemptions on food, children's clothes and other essentials abandoned in an effort to harmonise the sales tax across Europe. They say it's for harmonisation across Europe, but is this maybe where the extra VAT is going? To fund the unemployed in Italy? Go London. Bet very few have heard about this one. Thames sewage. UK faces up to prospect of multi-million-pound EU fines. Health tourists from EU costing £2 billion a year, and you're paying for them. EU students fail to repay record 40 million in university loans. Taxpayers face bill of millions to tackle EU migrant crisis. Hang on a minute. Didn't George Osborne say something about putting petrol prices back up? Could this latest headline hold a clue? Could this be the same fuel tax that Malta has refused to pay? Germany plots tax on British motorists to cover growing bill for its 1.1 million migrants. Now, these two last points become very interesting because I put this together before the budget, and today is the day after the budget when we heard that Mr. Osborne had not put fuel duty up. Did he bottle it? Did he feel it was one step too far for the Eurosceptics? Especially when everyone knows that oil prices are so low. How could that have been justified? He also must have known that the EU's plans to raise some kind of tax for migrants had been rumbled. The date on the article above is January the 16th, 2016. Was he instructed by the EU to drop it? Maybe produce it sometime in the future after they have arrogantly assumed that they can swing us to remain. And after all, he did manage to slip in a rise in car insurance premiums, a fact that's being steadfastly ignored by all the TV programmes I've seen so far. Where is that money going to go? And no reason has been given for this rise. Well, so far, I'm up to 28,032 million, and these are the ones that I could find at fairly short notice. All of this is your money, hard-working taxpayers' money. Are you feeling 3,000 better off yet? Well, if you aren't feeling it today, let's imagine the unimaginable. We vote to remain in the EU. We know they are withholding many controversial, nasty laws, taxes and fines from us until after we've voted to stay in, and then they're going to unleash them on the whole country with a vengeance because we will have given them the authority to do so by saying yes. Brussels presses the hold button on Brexit. European officials aren't just determined to keep mum during the UK's referendum campaign, they're refusing to move key legislation out of fear that they might fuel support for Brexit. One thing not very well hidden this week, though, is another 500 million Britain has had to stump up to contribute towards Frau Merkel's dithering, incompetent attempts to control the disaster she has created in Europe by allowing the mad dog of Turkey to blackmail the EU to the tune of 6 billion. He must be laughing all the way to his back pocket. Let's face it, we are a cash cow. They're not joking when they say that we're the second largest net contributor of money to the EU. That's about the only truth that the politicians have told you. But here, as you're beginning to see, is some of the amount we pay the EU in real terms. And what I've shown you here is only the tip of the iceberg. Much of it is hidden from us in the truly anti-British, deceitful and corrupt agenda of our politicians, aided and abetted by the media, who also say nothing. No wonder our national debt has tripled under the latest rabidly pro-EU government. Can't wait to give the country away, it seems, and bankrupt it in the process. Remember Greece? We know that the mad cow stronger in Europe pro-EU maniacs got this figure of £3,000 better off from the CBI, that well-known pro-EU funded group. Could there possibly be some bias here? How on earth are we all going to be 3,000 better off each year with this kind of money pouring out of the taxpayers' hands all the time? The EU is a parasite, sucking Britain dry, and if we say yes to them in the referendum, God help us all, we will simply have no country and no money left. Nothing to offer future generations. And what do they do with all this money? Where does it go? The EU is a bottomless pit. And just one more thought for you to ponder. Who is in charge here? Fines and punishments are usually for not obeying the law. Who makes the law? An authority of some sort, wouldn't you agree? The fact that we're paying the EU fines for breaking EU laws really rather very obviously points to the fact that this is the EU who is pretty much in charge of this country already. Next time you hear an out or a leave campaigner telling you that the EU are already making 80% of our laws and our present government is merely an administrative body for inflicting them on us, the poor unsuspecting population, think about these fines and taxes imposed on us by the EU, because this is what has been hidden from us for so long. This is how they have duped us and made fools of us. They're just waiting for you to vote to remain, and then they will take the remaining 20% so fast we won't know what's hit us. £3,000 better off? You lying, unscrupulous, say anything to feather your own nests and manipulate people's minds bastards. If you, like me, want all this hard-earned taxpayers' money back in Britain where it belongs to help repair the incredible damage already done to the people and the services and infrastructure of this country, you know there's only one answer. It really is inevitable, isn't it? A complete Brexit. Leave, 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 leave.